hot, hot, hot is all I can say about this summer.
I know, I love it. But if you're a grower or an exhibitor trying to get flowers in their most healthy condition to show here, it's going to be a really hard thing to do. But what a backdrop.
This is RHS Sandringham Flower Show, and it's exciting.
It is. It's the first time the RHS have had a show here, and this is the RHS Royal Legacy Garden.
Well, I think it's going to be a cracking show because there's already thousands of people milling around.
Yeah.
And because it's drier, because it's hotter, because of the time of year, there's going to be a different palette of plants to really go and explore and think about what you want in your garden at this time.
Exactly, and all of the experts that are here. You know, we have some of the best botanical brains in the country here, including Jamie Butterworth.
Oh, our Jamie, don't you worry. I've set him off with a list of what he's got to go and look for to get for me in the gardens. No, but it's going to be great fun. I'm really looking forward to going out.
But what is it that makes RHS Sandringham Flower Show so very special?
Norfolk, with its desert-like conditions, is one of the driest counties in the UK, with around half the national average of rainfall. And because the soils here in Norfolk are predominantly free-draining, drought-tolerant plants that like to bake in the sun tend to do very well.
Of course, there's a floral marquee brimming with late summer colour.
There is no better place to showcase what I love the most, my plants.
It's a local show for us, so to have one that's just 50 minutes away is great.
I love that there's such experience here, as well as the exuberance of the next gardening generation.
My 50th year. I started as a Saturday boy when I was 15, and this is the first time at Sandringham that we're doing this show. So excited.
And others who are just starting out on their journey.
I love going to shows, and people always ask loads of questions. It's great to have solutions for those problems.
I'm so excited to see what this brand spanking new show has to offer, and it looks like it's going to be mega.
And what a hugely impressive backdrop. Sandringham House sits within 60 acres of gardens, part of a larger 20,000 acre estate, and it's the first time the RHS have hosted a flower show here, and it has its own royal seal of approval.
We're in the King's backyard, and he's flung open his gates for this really exciting flower show. It's amazing, isn't it? It is.
The most beautiful location for a high summer floral event, the King's private residence. This is the RHS Sandringham Flower Show. It's so exciting to be here. I can't wait to get to the floral marquee.
Yeah, I know. But can we do the show gardens first? Do you mind?
No, I'm up for
Sure?
that. Let's
Come
do
on.
it.
What do you think of this garden?
I think it's really interesting because it's so formal. But when you look closely at it, actually, there's so much detail. There's so many plants.
There is a formality, but like in that planting, it's really soft because all the grasses. I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, I love
ornamental
them.
grasses.
I love grasses.
It's also not too dominant. They're in amongst all the flowers, but things like the bronze fennel and the colours, there's yellows, there's oranges, but there's also pinks, purples, whites. So it's kind of, there's a lot going on, but it feels harmonious. Shall we do it? One each side.
With this garden, I do feel that over time, it would really mature and be really lovely. It's very painterly.
This looks like a tapestry.
Yeah.
You know, it's absolutely beautiful. The really rich colours of the dahlias and the agapanthus and the salvias all mingled in together.
But the boundary is really lovely, Francis, because this gorgeous fence and, of course, the lovely native hedge, it's really got that soft feel to it, isn't it? So I kind of feel like I could just, relax, chill out.
Could be your country pad.
Planning already. Now, This garden has been designed for people that are partially sighted or have lost their sight, and it's very immersive, isn't it? Because the planting is really up close and personal.
And the changing surface of the floor allows you to navigate, and with that comes changing plants. I really like this blue-purple zone with the Vitex, Agnus castus, and the salvias and the sanguisorbas. Where we just come from, it's all kind of, you know, crocosmia and miscanthus and this bright, vibrant green and orange. It's very nice to, I think, mark out different zones in the garden with planting.
Yeah, that idea of sitting in a garden, close your eyes, listen to an audiobook, you just get such a different experience of the garden.
I love listening to an audiobook when I garden. Do you?
I put the old pods in every now and then.
Do you?
I do.
Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone.
I love this garden.
I can see your eyes twinkling. No, I have to agree with you. It's pretty special. For a small space, Frances, very clever design, because this is actually really generous.
It's massive.
Yeah. And then, of course, using wide planks like this give that extra sense of space. I think this is really, really inspired.
I love the planting. I mean, the trees are all edible, so apples, pears, cherries, and then there's veg, but there's also loads of amazing flowers. And if you come round here, this wildlife pond with, you know, mints in it, but all of the flowers around it. Such a biodiverse space. It really kind of does everything.
Yeah.
And beautifully.
I can see ideas percolating. Off we go across the boards.
The floral marquee is where I'm naturally drawn to on the showground, to see some familiar favourite plants, but also discover plants I've never heard of before, to chat to the growers. So I'm going to go for a wander and see what catches my eye. I love this plant. Any opportunity I get to plant a sanguisolva, I take it. As long as it's full sun and good drainage, they'll grow just about anywhere. You have this luscious green foliage at the base, which essentially makes up the trousers of the plants. And then these long, elongated stems that hold these scarlet red bobbleheads. This one's Joni, which is one I've never grown before, so I'm probably going to pick up one of these and take it home with me. But there's so much diversity and variety to sanguisolvas. You've got pink tanner here, you've got some taller white ones up there, and then some really over-the-top dramatic ones like lilac squirrel. If you're looking for a bit of drama towards the back of a border, this is brilliant for that too. The only thing to note is they do need as much sunshine as you can give them, which will help prevent them from flopping over. If they've got a look for the light, you can find them sort of just bending over slightly. There's a real electric atmosphere in here. You can just feel how excited people are to get to the plants. Your display is beautiful. I feel myself just drawn, like I'm absorbed into all of these salvias. I've just moved to Cumbria, which gets very cold and very wet. But if I was to propagate these now, if I was to take some soft tip cuttings around this time, we could maybe get them through the winter and then plant them out next year?
Yes, that propagates so well, so well.
Which one have we got here?
This is Belle de Noire.
Can I snap this
Yes,
off and we can...
of course. A bit lower than the nose.
A bit lower, so if I go about there...
Let me get this in.
Oh, that's a better idea, isn't it?
Good, there.
Okay.
Take those two leaves off. And then that little node there is where the roots will grow.
So it's slightly longer than I'd normally do it, so that's really helpful information to know. So if we put this in the pot now, it's going to root, I guess, in a few weeks?
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
really quickly.
Definitely.
So we'll have fresh new plants ready for the autumn.
Yes.
Well, in that case, especially now that we've trimmed this one, I best come and buy it.
Okay.
You can also use the same technique with fuchsias.
I have come to a garden that looks like a timeless landscape, but actually, in a changing climate, is a representation of the kinds of trees that we may all need to be growing as gardeners in the very near future. And I am going to speak to a world authority on trees, Tony Kirkham.
Hi, Francis.
Hello, Tony. How are you? This is really exciting.
It's called Future Wood, and it's about looking at trees for the future. By 2050, the predicted climate in this part of the world is going to be like Barcelona. But these trees, I think, will cope with that. Our native trees, of which we only have about 40 different species, are really struggling. For example, behind us, we have the oak. You can see this one's suffering from stress, and it's gone into decline, and probably over the next 2 or 3 years, it's going to die. There are so many threats to our native population that we've got to increase our diversity of trees. So we're looking at integrating natives and non-native trees.
And this is in gardens, but also in wider landscapes
The wider landscape, parklands, woodlands, and the urban landscape.
So what kinds of trees could we be planting instead?
Well, here in the garden, we've got 3 continents. So we've got Europe, the Americas, and Asia. If we start with Europe, this is Parotia, the Persian ironwood. Really tough tree, look how healthy it looks. And I think if we've got a small garden and we're looking to plant 1 tree, then it's got to be a hard worker. So it's got to tick lots of boxes, you know, good autumn colour, flower, bark, and Parotia does all that.
And that will survive in a future climate?
I think it'll be a good one. And then here we have Horticulture. The last 2 years, this has been flowering so well. It needs that heat. It's got these large panicles of yellow flowers, followed by these lantern-like fruits.
And these trees, the American species?
These are my favourites. So you've got the tulip tree and the Magnolia grandiflora.
So that's that tall evergreen?
That tall evergreen. It comes in lots of cultivars, but the cultivar over there, Little Gem, that's still a strong grower, so loves this weather.
So in terms of planting these?
I will be starting to plant in September through to November, December. The ground's still warm, and although the trees are dormant, the root will still have a lot of activity. Most trees planted in spring are on the back foot.
Okay.
If we plant in autumn, then they're ahead of the game. We won't need to give them as much water as we would a spring planting trees.
So there's hope?
I think we have to be positive.
Yeah.
We need to think outside the box. We've got to be brave and integrate natives and non-natives, and both will contribute to a really good, healthy treescape, landscape.
Well, I hope that people here are receptive to this, because it's such a lovely thought.
Likewise, thank you. I'm glad you like it.
I love it.
At this time of year, there's still so much that we can pack into our borders, and the floral marquee here is abundant with ideas. And there's something just down here that's really caught my eye. Often in the garden, we're spending so much time taking out weeds from cracks and crevices, but I love this idea of taking these hardy sedums or the sempervirens and literally placing them into those cracks. You don't need much plant material, and because that's where they naturally grow, they don't need to have much resource in terms of watering. This sedum will grow so quickly that you actually only need 1 plant, and by splitting it, popping it around the garden, it won't be long before you get this beautiful abundance through your pathways. And of course, the joy of these is that you can share them with friends. Now, these plants are hardy and can be grown outside, but if you don't have outside space, there are succulents that can be grown for indoors. We caught up with a husband and wife team who specialise in growing tender succulents.
抓住根儿来种啊！好，我指导你，被我指导，小胖子。
是让我做是吧？
拿那个镊子抓住那个根儿，把它戳进去。I'm Chen. I come from China, Beijing. It's my husband, David.
I'm David. I'm from Kent, and this is my lovely wife, Chen. Me or you?
You.
Oh, okay. Funny story how we met. It was in Beijing as part of a study group, and some of the other students were also teaching at an after-school club. She was on her lunch break. She said, can you go and water my plants upstairs? I said, sure. Couldn't understand why she wouldn't do it. I thought it'd take 30 seconds, a couple of minutes. Went upstairs. The whole rooftop was covered in plants, tens of thousands. Then I suddenly understood why she couldn't water them and why it needed me to go do it.
Oh, probably a couple hundred. I think maybe 200, 300 around this.
I think it's far more than that. It was definitely, definitely quadruple digits. Definitely took a long time.
So they very chubby and very cute. We just like cute things, so we just like succulent. Look, they're chubby, right? They're super chubby and they're very pinky.
Which one do you think's cuter, succulent or David?
David, maybe. I have to say him because he's here.
If he wasn't here, would you be saying succulents?
Yeah, probably.
This is our nursery. So what we got outside over here is these are outdoor growing tables. When we've grown them to the sizes that we want, this is where we start to try and put the colour and the shapes on them. What happens is we rotate them in and out of the polytunnels.
And here, oh, probably
tens of thousands.
Yeah.
Just echeverias and so on, a couple of thousand. If you include in lithots, like the smaller baby plants, tens of thousands. If you're including the cuttings and the propagation, again, another 5,000 at least.
People have the impression with succulents that there's two types of succulents. You either have a hardy succulent you can leave out all year round, or it's an indoor succulent. And as soon as people realize it's not a hardy succulent, they tend to think it's very tender and must always live inside. Obviously, it needs to come in during the winter, the non-hardy ones, but we always suggest put them outdoors as much as possible. They need UVB, which gets blocked by traditional glass, for example. The higher the intensity of the light, the better the colors that you get.
Those three succulents, this is my favorite ones. I like this one because this one exactly my style, very chubby and very pinky. And the reason you can green like that is, I think the important thing is temperature difference and the sunlight, and also is how you water them. Because the leaves actually collect water, so they will become chubby. So this one, the reason I like it, because these leaves have very, very strong color. I like this purple pink one. And this one, the reason I like it is I made it myself. I just mix the two succulents together and get this one. And this one, I feel like this one very easy to get baby. Every time I cut a hair, they got more baby.
A lot of questions that she gets asked all the time is, how do you make your succulents so colourful?
And chubby.
And chubby, yeah. And a lot of the time people suspect that we put extra things in, extra supplements, but it's all done just with light and water.
So like those two, you can say they're actually same plant, but different color. Really depend on how you want to, how often water them, or also about the weather. So you can say here, I got baby one, because the baby one hiding here. So the baby one's still green, but the top one already quite orange.
This one's obviously a lot greener than the other one because it hasn't had such strong sunlight. We're not doing anything that they can't handle. So when people say that they're stressed, people think that we're taking them completely outside of their comfort zone, so they're panicking, but that's not what's happening. So for example, this one's a lot more colourful than this one, and that's because it's had so much light that it can't absorb all of it, so it produces more anthocyanins and carotenoids, kind of like sunscreen. All plants do it, it's just on a lot of succulents, it produces a lot more. So it's a completely natural process.
Here's a good example of a echeveria that's gone through a watering cycle, where in between waters we've let the soil dry out completely. That means it's closed up and you've got this nice rosette. And also what you can see from here is we're giving them enough water so that the leaves stay chubby, they're not all wrinkly and wilted. So this one you can see the difference. This one over here hasn't gone through the dry cycle in between waters. What's happened here is, instead of the soil completely drying out in between watering, we've left it a little bit damp. And what that means is, it's a little bit green because it's allowed it to absorb the nitrogen from the soil. And on top of that, it's also opened up. So when the soil dries up completely, it closes into a rosette. When still left a little bit damp, it opens. So here we have another interesting type of succulent. It's called a lithop. It's from the meson family, and it's natively from southern Africa. Their defense mechanism is to pretend to be a stone. So instead of being spiky or poisonous or whatever, they just try and hide in plain sight. A lot of people say that they look like brains or elephant feet, but in Asia, the nickname for this kind of plant is bum flower, because it looks like a bum.
I think that one is nice.
These ones?
I think maybe those ones. The color is really nice and strong.
These ones look really good. Now I can see why people get obsessed with them. And I wasn't expecting to grow plants. I didn't have any interest in plants, to be honest. Yeah, succulents have changed my life. Every day is succulents. Everywhere I look, kitchen, garden, nursery, everywhere I look at succulents. They're always in the car. People talk to me about succulents.
Yeah, and people and his friend ask him advice about succulent. Right? Everybody. Yeah.
Who's more obsessed now?
Definitely
Him?
her.
No.
Definitely it. Oh yeah, me.
I have to say, I love this stand. It looks fantastic. And it looks as if you can use any container, Chen, to display your wonderful succulents.
Yes, you can, but you have to make sure you drill a hole and make the water come through and dry out.
Ah, okay, so I'll have to make sure I remember that. And David, succulents, I have, not been so great growing them. Any top tips for me?
I think we have two main tips. Even if they're not hardy succulents, don't be afraid to put them outside. The sunlight will mean that you'll get much better colours in the spring and the autumn. Okay. And to complement that, get the watering right. So make sure that when you water it, big water, let the soil be dry for a few weeks.
Well, thank you both. That's some great advice, and I think you've given encouragement for everybody to grow more succulents at home.
Thank you.
This stand has really caught my eye because it's so beautiful. It's a local nursery and it's their first time exhibiting at an RHS show. And of course, they got gold. It's a really muted palette of greens and whites, which is quite unusual. And all of these plants are adapted to moist shade. So if you have a spot like that in your garden, these would work for you. This is Lysomachia candela. It's really beautiful. And then we have a white thalictrum. This is Thalictrum Splendide White, stunning, especially with the hydrangea limelight. Really beautiful combination there. It also showcases some variegated foliage, which is not something that we see all of the time because people can be very scathing about variegation. This is Fatsia japonica spider's web, really delicate variegation. And the closer you look, the more amazing plants you see. And there is just one more that's caught my eye. And this is it, Zygodinus elegans, and it's a plant that's completely new to me. It's a bulb, so classic bulb foliage, and then this spike of pale green flowers. It's really attractive. Something that you should know if you're planning on growing this plant is that it is highly toxic. So don't plant it anywhere where children or pets can get hold of it, and certainly don't plant it anywhere near chives or anything that looks like this that you might eat. And that all sounds quite scary, but actually, it's that joy of learning about a plant, what you can eat, what you certainly can't eat, that makes us love the fascinating world of botany. Now, speaking of experts, one of the exhibitors here is a national collection of Achillea. Achilleas are fantastic plants, beautiful and great for wildlife. And a few weeks ago, we went to Lincolnshire to visit John Cullen as he prepared for this inaugural event.
Achilleas have always been a passion of mine since I was a kid. I grew them from a packet of seeds. It was one of the first things that I grew that was successful. They're easy to grow. That's probably why they were so successful as a child. They tolerate the blazing sunshine that we get through the summer months now, and they have lots of different colour formations. And I just find that they bring in all the pollinators, so they're a great plant to have in the garden. So I was an event manager, I worked in the city and worked for a financial bank, planning a lot of their events for very high-end clients, and travelled the world with that job. The reason that I started in gardening was I was made redundant, and the garden became a little bit of solace as well. I studied garden design and I got lost in that. I didn't think I would turn it into a career, but I did. One of the great things with Achilles is that you can mix and match. You can have really tall varieties, you can have short varieties, you can have the mid-range, all in the same border. And you get a really nice tapestry. You get them all blending in with each other. And a lot of people will say to me, oh, what colours can you put together? Use them all, because they'll all blend nicely. This variety is Sunny Seduction. Really lives up to its name. Nice and bright without being an acid yellow, so it's a pale lemon yellow. It's a front of border Achillea, so 40 centimetres. Also great in pots and containers. Pollinators see this colour first, so the bees are normally swarming all over this variety, and it's got a really long flowering period. The yellows come into flower around about the end of April, and you can still have some in flower sort of towards the end of September. So this is one of the relatively new varieties. It's the New Vintage series, and this one is New Vintage Violet. So it's got a real strong magenta colour to it. They're a short variety as well, so they're great for either front to mid-border. They're never going to get above sort of 45 centimetres. As the new varieties, they all tend to have square stems rather than round stems, so you avoid what I would classify as the Achillea flop. So a lot of the old-fashioned varieties have round circular stems, and when it rains, unfortunately, the flower head gets very heavy and it does a bit of a peony fall to the ground. Whereas the squarer stems stay nice and upright and they look great. Achilleas like a good sunny position. They like to bake in the sunshine. So make sure you're not planting them underneath trees and shrubs. They don't like a sort of canopy over them, otherwise we tend to lean towards the light. They need to be in a free draining soil. However, the soil here is quite heavy, so they've been planted in grit and they're quite happy. This is their third year, so they're coming back stronger and stronger each year. So we are going to, hopefully, get 4 plants out of this one plant by division. So we want to split it down the middle. And if we're lucky, yep. So we've definitely got 2 plants there. And I think we can now get 4, because I'm a wee bit greedy. So we'll just do that again. A lot of people will say to us, when's the best time to propagate your Achilleas? We do it all year round. Achilleas are tough plants. They can take a bit of brutality. And as long as you are cutting the plant right the way back and taking it back to its root form, it's going to shoot straight away because that's what it's programmed to do. So we're going to repot these into organic, peat-free soil. It's a little bit of my own mix. We don't use any chemicals, herbicides, pesticides, anything on the nursery. I like to work with nature rather than working against it. Along with our organic gardening, we try to use predators rather than using anything else. So ladybirds are phenomenal, and parasitic wasps have a attraction to Achilleas. They love to nest under them, and they're a little bit like ladybirds on steroids. So that solves any aphid problem that we have. Once everything is all potted up, I would always put the pots into water trays. Rather than watering over the top of them, let the plant suck it up from the bottom. That encourages the roots to go to the bottom of the pot rather than them taking moisture from the top. I would keep them in these pots until round about sort of September time, and then they can be either put into bigger pots if you're doing pots and containers, or you can plant them into the ground where the soil's still nice and warm in September. They'll get rooted in there and then they're ready for flowering next year. Achilleas are also great for pollinators. They pull in 2 particular pollinators. So short-tongued bees and butterflies, I see it a little bit like a helicopter pad. They come in, They land on the plant. There's lots of tiny little flowers in the umbel, so there's lots of food and nectar in there for them. They can sit there for a little while, go around all the flowers, and then zip off again. Or, more often or not, they move on to the next one. And again, because achillias are clump forming, you get quite a lot of flowers in the mass of the plant. And that's what the butterflies and the short-tongued bees like. They're a little bit of a lazy pollinator. They want to land on their food, they want to sit and enjoy it, and then once they've got their fill, off they go again. So it's perfect for them. Something to note with achillias is you are going to get different colours on the flower throughout the growing season. So you can see on this particular one, which is Desert Eve Rose, this is the bud as it first comes out. It's got a really nice dark colour. It's starting to open up here, and then it's slowly starting to age. Once the flower has completely aged, so this one here is just starting to go over a little bit, you want to cut it back, and that's going to give you another flowering stem. Don't make the mistake of cutting it halfway down the stem. You want to take your snips right down to the base of the plant, ideally level with the soil, and snip. Taking the whole stem off, that then sends a message down to the roots of the plant to throw up another flowering stem. If you cut it halfway down, it doesn't send the message, and you're just left with a little brown mark on the top of your stem, so you've burnt the stem and you get no more flowers. Getting ready for Sandringham. This is definitely one of the achilles that will be going into our display. It's Achillea ptarmica Peter Cottontail. Doesn't look like a regular achillea because it's part of the ptarmica family. Some of these are doubles, some of these are semi-doubles. Peter Cottontail has a little mix within all of them. And the great thing is the nectar is still on the outside of the plant. So we still get the bees and the butterflies, and it's a great dazzling white.
So Peter Cottontail, did it make it?
It did indeed make it.
Yeah?
Not as much of it as we'd hoped to get in the display, but it is
really?
in there.
Okay.
The hot weather put pay to that for us, but yes, it's in the display.
It's a lovely plant though, and is it good for cut flowers?
It's amazing for cut flowers because it lasts really well in a vase.
Okay.
So probably once you cut it and put it into the vase, it's got a 2-week shelf life.
Really?
Yeah. And a lot of people are using it for bridal flowers. It looks really great and it's fresh.
Okay, and what about the other ones, the normal achilles? Do they make a good cut flower?
Yeah, they all make good cut flowers. This display, we've put a lot of the shorter varieties in. They're good for front of borders as well.
Sure.
And they dry really well. They will fade in colour, but they'll last for about 6 months.
Why do you not grow the longer ones? Would they not be
So
better?
the longer varieties, especially the Philpendulinas, have a certain odour to them.
Right.
So they can smell a little bit like cat wee, which is not what you'd really want in a bouquet, shall we say.
No, not ideal.
And also, if we have a lot of it in the display, you can definitely smell it by the end of the week.
So these ones are what, the millefolium?
Yeah, mostly all millefoliums. Got a good scent to them, so it smells a little bit like almonds, but you wouldn't buy them as a scented flower, but they've just not got a nasty odour to them.
And they look absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Well done. You made it. But another place that is buzzing with excitement here is the long borders.
I really love the long borders, Jamie, because the size of them means you can get access all around and get up close to all those take-home ideas.
They feel attainable, realistic, and whether it's an individual plant or the way the plants are put together, that's what I'm looking at.
Ah.
This is by far my favourite long border here. It's a combination and composition of some of my favourite plants, and these are plants that are really brilliant at adapting to a hotter, drier climate. We've got things like Salvia caradonna, we've got eryngiums, we've got Calamagrostis calfosa. These individually are superb plants, but when you put them together, magic happens.
This border has a backbone of dead wood running through it, where as it degrades, it's going to be really great habitat for so many insects in the garden. The planting style is like meadow-esque in how it's been put together. Many of these plants will self-seed, which is great in a garden because it gives you a dynamic landscape, and your gardening is done by editing rather than placing plants through it. We've got things like yarrow and mullein and even ragwort, which can be found all over the place. Its controversy is that it can be dangerous to livestock. So if you have it in your garden, just make sure you keep it contained. It is a fantastic foodstuff for the caterpillar of the cinnabar moth. So a border like this will have your garden teeming with wildlife.
What I love most about this border is it's a really clever example of microclimates, even in a tiny space. From one end of the border to the other, we've got two really different environments going on here. So on this side, they've dipped the soil down, which means it's going to capture the water and create a swale. So plants like carex and lithrums that like to have their roots wetter for longer are going to grow much happier over there. Just mere centimetres away on this side of the border, we've got thymes, achillias and myrtles that like it drier and hotter and better drainage. It's just a really good example of how even in the smallest of spaces, you can influence the environment to grow the plants that you want to grow.
This border really caught my eye, mainly because it is covered in pollinators. It's going to go into a busy town centre outside a shopping area where it's going to be full of pollution, very hot, and have very little access to water. So the plants have been chosen to make sure that when they are planted into this building aggregate, the tap roots have to go really deep to get their water resource. But there's limonium in here, there's festuca, and I've not seen this sedum before, a Hylotelephium barborderi, which is really unusual. The key to this garden is making sure that all of the habitat creation is really nestled in amongst the planting so that all the pollinators can come and feed off the plants and also have somewhere to nest.
Here at Sandringham, there are some really beautiful smaller show gardens to give us gardeners with slightly more modest plots a lot of inspiration. And this is one of them. It's a woodland-style garden with a rain garden at one end for moisture-loving plants and a dry garden at the other for drought-tolerant plants. And this is one which is drought-tolerant, which I've never seen before. This is Nepeta Magical Mr. Blue Sky. It's absolutely beautiful. And then this, I think, is the star of the garden. Conifers may not be everyone's cup of tea, but when you see this, you might think again. This is a Bhutan pine, or Pinus wallichiana, and it gives it delicacy that wouldn't be here if this was just another deciduous tree. It actually originates from the Himalayas, and it's very, very tactile with soft, soft needles and very beautiful cones. Now, this is the time for height and late summer flowers, and this is a flower that is well worth growing. It's actually a shrub, Clerodendron bungii. Not so common as it used to be, but it grows really well in shade, so it's a good performer. And when it's established, it will get much taller than this is here. But the best thing about it is it has an incredible scent. If you have a dappled, shady spot that you don't know what to do with, I highly recommend this plant. This is the Polywiggle Garden, and apparently that is a Norfolk term for tadpole, and this is all about frogs and toads. Of course, water is a big feature, but also these incredible insect habitats. So this pile is beautiful. Frogs and toads will use it to warm up in some of the nooks and then to hibernate in the cooler places. And of course, this will encourage slugs, which is their food source. Bring the food to them. Another thing that's really clever is that raising this sink, putting it up on bricks, gives this dark, damp habitat underneath that frogs and toads will really enjoy. This is an amazing garden and inspiration for a small space. It's all about water capture and the sound that that makes, so it's a soundscape as much as a landscape. But as well as being ultra cool with things like mind your own business and gallium in the cracks, when you look closely, you see that the cracks are also filled with lettuce, there's basil here, a courgette, and even a tomato, and that is exactly what people do in small gardens. They cram everything in and make it multifunctional. Look at this, Pinus mugo with a Pinus blue shag down there on the floor, and it works so well, even on this scale. It's very nice.
Often in July, there can be a gap of colour in our borders. Some sets of plants have gone over and we're waiting for the high summer stars to come through. And of course, with the heat wave that we've had, our gardens have taken an extra toll. So the question is, if we want colour in our borders now and to take us through the season, what do we put in them? The daisy family are perfect for this time of year. They can add some real colour and zing into your borders. And there's something for every height and position within the garden as well. So whether it's heleniums or if you're going to go for a coreopsis, I love echinaceas. And there's also Rebecchias that can be used. Now, planting at this time of year, we know there's been drought and it's been really, really hot. And with the hose pipe ban, you can still water in your garden using a watering can. So any plants that you buy, make sure you soak them in a bucket, soak the hole where you're going to plant them, and you can still make sure that you're bringing colour into your garden. Agapanthus are star plants at this time of year. They absolutely love the heat. And as they come from white through to power blues to deep violets, there's going to be a colour that you're going to love for your border. And they work really well in containers, which is perfect on a patio. I love to move them around the garden. Agapanthus need to have well-drained soil and then they'll really thrive. And with so many of them now being really hardy, they'll be back year after year, giving you real joy. Every late summer border deserves a dahlia. It is the star of the show when it comes to late summer blooms. These dahlias will flower all the way through to first frost. And dahlias come in such an array of colours and in so many shapes. This one's totally tangerine and it is loved by the pollinators, that lovely open flower. And now that the climate's warming, so many gardeners are able to leave them in the ground for longer. As long as they don't get wet over the winter, they should come back next year. They're perennial, giving more and more joy. And the thing I love about dahlias is that they are a great cut and come again flower. So I like to see them not only in the garden, but cut them for the vase and have them in the house. Now, it's been a warm, sunny afternoon and I'm going to have a little rest in the shade. Keep it to yourself.
A few weeks ago, we caught up with a grower preparing for Sandringham at his nursery in Hampshire, on a plot that has been lovingly tended to by his family for generations.
Hello Gardeners World, I'm Matt and welcome to Gransfield. Growing's always been in the family, right back to the 1920s when my great-granddad Sid used to grow strawberries on this patch. And my grandma and her sister lived their whole lives here, and when I was growing up I'd go and see Gran and do a bit of growing and say, oh, I'm popping to Gran's field. Now that we grow these perennials here, we call it Gransfield. And you remember even picking strawberries then, Dad, didn't you?
I do. I've been picking strawberries here since the 1970s when I used to get paid 50p an hour. And now working for you, I'll do it for free.
Here on the nursery, we don't like to throw anything away if we don't have to. So this is our potting shed, which we've cobbled together with old pallets, stables that we had, and bits of reclaimed wood just from the local area. So this potting shed has a lot of character. You can see we've put it together using all sorts of reclaimed materials. Pallets for the walls, we've got containers here, repurposed, and every plant that we grow, we do by hand like my great-granddad used to do. I'm really excited actually to see if these peach Melba salvia come good for the show. We've potted them up, we've cut them back, and they're just starting to show buds now, which is a really, really good sign. So we're only a few weeks away now from Sandringham, so we'll see. So Sandringham will be our second ever RHS flower show, and I'm really excited to be bringing these strawberries with us for the display. Lovely flower on them. They look a lot like a geum, but they're unbelievable and they fruit fantastically well. You can see a bit of fruit down there. Hopefully they're looking great for the show, in memory of great-granddad Sid, of course, who used to grow strawberries here. Really excited to be going to Sandringham. Hopefully everything will flower in time, and we'll see you there.
Congratulations, this looks brilliant, and
thanks, man.
I guess most importantly it must be a relief because all the plants look perfect. They flowered brilliantly.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it is massive relief.
What's the plant? If I'm going to take one away with me now, that's also going to see me all through the summer.
If I had to name one thing I think that's going to take you right through, flowering now, looking great, is Alstroemeria.
Okay.
They've been really popular for the show, and it's clear to see why. They're just starting to flower now, probably for the 7-8 weeks. And as they go over, to get more out of them, you want to pull them out with the hand at the base. You don't want to cut these, you pull them out.
Okay.
That stimulates the plant to produce more, and they last forever as cut flowers. They're fantastic.
I've never been, it's never a plant that I go to naturally, but seeing this pure white version, I think is stunning.
Yeah, it is. They're lovely, sunny spot. They're pretty low maintenance.
The dream. That's the plant then.
They're pretty good, yeah. So if I had to recommend one, probably be this.
It's beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I can't wait to see what you do next year.
Well, thank you very much.
Now, every regional flower show that's run by the RHS features a master grower, a nursery person or plants person who has gone above and beyond the call of duty to breed and produce plants that we can enjoy in our gardens. And this honour is bestowed on someone who is absolutely at the top of their game. Sandringham's master grower is Peter Beals Roses, and their nursery manager, Ian Limmer, has dedicated his whole life to growing roses. And he works just down the road.
Roses are so versatile, they'll start flowering from end of April and they'll go right the way through until November. Even December we've got roses out. The beauty of the flower, the plant, the structure, they add height into a garden. They can add lowness spreading everywhere. The beauty for me is also when you've got the flower buds just waiting to burst open. It's the excitement to see the first colour, and then suddenly you've got pink flower coming through, then the next one. Masses and masses of flowers. There are a lot of varieties that might only flower for 3 to 4 weeks, but they're so special. Well, I've been here now, this is my 50th year. I started as a Saturday boy when I was 15, and all I was interested in is not roses, not plants. I just wanted enough money to get myself my first form of transport. I met my wife here at the nursery, and we've now been married, that'll be next year, I mustn't forget that, 40 years. And that was it, and that's led me all around the world, Japan, China, Europe, you know, lecturing and demonstrations and things like that, you know, perfect. We've had 31 gold medals at Chelsea Flower Show, probably another 60 gold medals throughout the year at various different RHS shows, etc. You know, we've won several. This is one of my favourite roses, especially for this time of year. It's called Scarlet Flower Carpet. And the beauty of this, it starts flowering and looking absolutely wonderful when a lot of the other roses are beginning to go over. This suddenly stands out. And look at all the clusters on here. This will flower right the way through until November, maybe even into December. The winters are getting narrower now, so roses are flowering for longer. I think that's what the beauty is about it. It's just, well, it's stunning, isn't it? This is the Oxford Physic Rose. It's one of my favourites because it'll have 3 good flushes a year. It started off in May and had a flush in May and June, and then had a rest, deadheaded it, and now look at it again. A lovely, soft, subtle, old-fashioned pink rose. The health of this is incredible. It's one which we introduced about 3 years ago. I'd almost go to say it's disease-resistant. I can't see any black spot on it. The scent on this rose is absolutely wonderful. Semi-double flowers. On a day like this rose is enjoying giving us the perfume. I love this rose. It's Ibis rose. It starts flowering in early May. It's one of the very first ones that come out in the garden, which is a double rose. As you can see here, it's a nice little shrub, but what we've done is we've trained one of the stems to go up and be used as a small climber. So if you've got like a fencing panel, something like that, climbers start at about 8 to 10 foot in height, whereas a lot of the shrub roses will be happily grown at 5 or 6 foot height and trained against a fencing panel. They will make perfectly great small climbers. You can grow any rose in pots, modern roses, climbers and ramblers, as long as the pot is big enough. An ideal size for a pot is something about 15 inches across, maybe 18 inches across, 15 to 18 inches deep. The bigger the pot, the better it is for the rose. The most important thing that you want to remember is the liquid feed. Liquid feed and water, making sure when you are watering, taking your time, there's no rush, but you will need about 3/4 of a watering can to water the pot. Ideally, go in at the base so that you don't get the foliage wet. We're totally peat-free here at the nursery, but it does need extra watering. It does need that extra feed. If you're feeding the roses, tomato feed is very good. Liquid seaweed is also very good. And if you can remember just to do it 4 or 5 times during the summer months, the liquid feed, anything from June onwards, you should be having some good roses. They add wonderful colour, height, texture to your patio. One of the most common diseases that roses get is black spot. Black spot is defined with the yellow leaves and then literally black spots over it. That means the plant is stressed. It's drying out a little bit, and the reason why we've got quite a bit of black spot on this one, this is a young bed. Okay, this has only been planted 2 years ago, so the root system hasn't really got established. 3 or 4 years' time, there won't be half the disease on here because the roots will be happy where it is. To help counteract that, really all you need to do is to pick off all the worst problem leaves, put it in a bag, put it in your waste bin or something. You don't really want to be putting it into your compost bin because that then might pass on into your compost and so on. Take off the dead heads as normal, that's just about finished, and then feed it, water it. You come back in September, you'll have some lovely lush flowers. Please do not worry about a few black spots. These are our show plants here, and what we're looking for is roses to be at a perfect stage. To me, this is perfect. It's just showing colour, because we're about 10 days away from Sandringham Flower Show, and then we've got the back buds all coming through here. Can you see this variety here? They've all gone over. We've had this heat wave, and a lot of them have almost just stopped. You know, they're like us, we've had enough. You know, we're not going to be producing new flowers for you. It's hot, we're exhausted, we're feeding them, we're watering them, and some varieties are just saying, not going to have it. Then we move over to something like this, the Comte de Chambord here. Beautiful fragrance. I'm excited about that one because here we've got a flower which is beautiful, and that's what we're hoping for. Look at all these back buds here. By meaning back buds, they're just closed, beginning to open, ready to be perfect in 10 days' time. Ah, this is brilliant. Here we go. We've got a lovely floribunda rose called Bordeaux Camille. By floribunda, it means clusters of lots of flowers on the end of a stem. It's almost going to be perfect for Sandringham. That one will be no good, but I've just taken that off so you can see the back buds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. Really going to be good. We've probably got about 10 or 12 blooms here. So looking forward to be showing something like this, which is a novelty rose. This will lighten up the stand. It'll be so exciting. What would life be without roses? I mean, working with them for 50 years, you're living, you're breathing roses day in, day out. 50 years, and I'm still learning. Especially this year, we've had 3 heat waves. You will never know it all. Every day is a learning day. I think I've chosen the right career.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Francis.
I suppose after 50 years, you've earned a sit down.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations on your medal. I heard
Thank you.
that you were awarded that this morning.
Well done,
Thank
you.
you,
50
thank you.
years is a long time.
Thank you. Recognised by the RHS to have a medal is absolutely an honour. So, yeah, really pleased.
And in that 50 years, you must have seen an awful lot of changes as a rose grower.
Yeah, with the weather that's happening now is getting drier and drier, and the summers are getting longer, which means the winters are getting shorter. So pruning 30, 40 years ago, we used to start in October time, you know, finishing around April time. Well, now, if you're pruning roses in October, they're still in full leaf, they're still in flower, and then if you're pruning as late as April time, they're shooting out and they've almost got buds on them. So we're really now pruning from early December through until sort of end of February, early March. So yes, things have changed quite a lot.
What about the style of them? What's popular now?
Over the last few years, especially the single flowers and semi-double flowers, and we're introducing more of those these days because people want insect-friendly plants, and the semi-double ones and the singles will tolerate the sun a lot better than more double ones.
So interesting, which we need. We need plants that can tolerate this heat.
That's right.
Well, congratulations again on your medal and
Thank you very
on
much.
being a master grower on a beautiful stand.
Thank you very much, lovely. Thank you.
You caught me. Hello.
I found you in a lovely garden.
Well, I just thought, come and have a place to sit and absorb. Quite an amazing day, actually. It's been a lot.
It's been a lot, but what a nice spot to do it. I love the water feature. And
exactly.
It's lovely, isn't it? And the birch, a building made of bottles. Who knew?
Well, I haven't had a drop, let me tell you, just so you know that.
Of course, of course. But you've enjoyed it, though?
Really enjoyed it. Slightly achy feet, but other than that, it's been brilliant. Really good.
Sadly, though, that is all we have time for here today. But the show is on until Sunday, so if you're in the area and you fancy coming and sharing some of this joy, then you know where it is.
And next week, Monty will be back at Longmeadow. So until then, bye.
Goodbye.
From smartest to largest, Chris Packham tells the incredible story of animal evolution on BBC iPlayer, where you'll also find the droid you're looking for and the Robot Carer new comedy starring Diane Morgan. Up next, a new outing for Bergerac in just a moment.